Hey, pokedad fan club, it's me, pokedad, and today I'm coming to you with a new deck profile. It's one of my first deck profiles that I've done with the Breakthrough series, and we're looking this time at Gengar. Now, this card is actually going up in price pretty quickly, and it's very understandable why. It has two attacks. The first one can be used but isn't used very often in this deck. Sinister Fog, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, and then put one damage counter on each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So it's decent. It kind of lines up with his second attack, which is Creep Show, and this is the attack we really want to be using. If your opponent's active Pokemon has 3 or more damage counters on it, that Pokemon is knocked out. So 3 damage counters is kind of the magic number that we're looking for. Creep Show is what we're trying to do. We want to try to get the damage counters on them and then knock them out. So that's really all there is to the deck. Now, Gengar is a stage 2, so we do have to evolve from his previous evolutions. So we'll take a look at these just in case, just so you can see. Ghastly has Sleep Poison, so flip a coin if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep, and Poison. That's actually not too bad for a basic because it can begin, if you do get the Sleep Poison off, the Poison will begin to put damage counters on the active. And then also putting them to sleep will allow you to give you an extra turn to potentially, I should say, give you an extra turn to evolve from Ghastly to Haunter. Haunter is the stage 1, and Haunter has the ability, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may leave both active Pokemon confused. So this can be a double-edged sword, but for the most part it's pretty useful because you can actually confuse your opponent, and then they might hit themselves and put 3 damage counters on themselves, and then next turn you evolve to Gengar and you Creep Show and you take a knockout just like that. So it's not a terrible ability. It kind of works again with Gengar's idea here that we're trying to use Creep Show. So that's what we do. So that Gothic Fear can be very useful as an ability. Furthermore, we also play Mystery Energy in this deck. So we can confuse our active and then just retreat it into another Pokemon a lot of times because we have Mystery Energy that we're playing. We also have Poison Ring, which for a Psychic and a Colorless, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, and that Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. So that can be useful too, because Poison will begin to stack damage counters. If they can't retreat, they may be forced to attack, and if they attack while they're confused, then next turn we can just get Gengar and finish them off. So that line, we run a 4 of Ghastly, 2 of Haunter, and 4 of Gengar. We're going to try to rare candy into the Gengar most of the time, and we actually play 4 rare candies just because we want to have a lot of redundancy in this deck because it is a stage 2. Stage 2s can be very tricky to play, but with the redundancy it makes it easier for us to get to Gengar, so we can evolve naturally through Haunter, or we can evolve directly with rare candy. Now the teammate that we use with Gengar is more Gengar. We play Gengar EX, so you're allowed to have 4 of the EX and 4 of the Gengar. And actually, we want to use Gengar's first attack, Gengar EX's first attack, most of the time, is Night Attack. Put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. What's really cool about this is you can Lysander up a heavy retreat cost guy that has no energy on it, and then begin to Night Attack, putting multiple damage counters on the bench. And then they're all ready to go for Creep Show. And that's really what Gengar's here. We actually play 4 Gengar because we want to start with Night Attack. You can put an energy on there, but if we have Dimension Valley in play, we can actually attack for free. So we can begin to put 3 damage counters on our opponent's Pokemon without even needing energy, which is really, really awesome in this deck. So we play 4 of those. I also play one of the new Mewtwo EX. This is the one with the scatter shot. And again, this can be very useful. There's a couple reasons why I play it. The first reason is if we go against a very heavy dark deck, and Zoroark Break is a big thing nowadays, Eviltal will always be around. So if we're going against a dark deck, both of the Gengars are weak and could potentially get knocked out much easier. Mewtwo could potentially even you could tank Mewtwo and do really well. Scattershot does 30 damage for each psychic, so we get 2 psychics on there. And then if they start hitting our Mewtwo, let's say they hit it like we're playing against just stage 1s or something that have 90 damage, they hit us, let's say, for 120 or whatever, we can just use damage change, put that 120 back onto that stage 1 and knock it out. And then we have nothing on us. So I really like damage change, even though Shatter Shot isn't all that great, but it still can be useful. So anyway, that's what we have with Mewtwo EX here. Now, let's see, moving right along here, we have we do play 2 Shaman EX. That's just for the setup ability at the beginning of the game. I mean, it's just very helpful. We can Ultra Ball for Shaman, get our hand down a little bit, and draw into more cards, which will allow us to get the ball rolling to get these Ghastlies out as quickly as possible. So that's very nice. Let's take a look at our supporter lineup, and then we'll come back to our items. So the first one that we see is AZ. We're just playing one of the AZ. AZ is basically, let's say we have a Dimension Valley in play and we got Gengar EX. He's kind of taking a little bit of damage for us, but at the same time he's not using any energy because he's attacking through Dimension Valley. Well, we might want to save our energy, especially our mystery energy, for something else. So we can take AZ and pull him right off the active location and then bring up our Gengar, baby Gengar, I guess you could say, and creep show that way. So AZ can be very useful there. Also, AZ can help us with the Shamans. It becomes another draw support for us by taking the Shaman, bringing it back to our hand, and then drawing back up to 6. So very useful card AZ is. Just play one of there. We also play one Hex Maniac. We don't have to deal with a lot of walls because both Gengar's EX's attack is just putting damage counters on, so it's not actually doing damage. We shouldn't have to worry about Aegislash or even like Beautifly, Pyroar. All of those we shouldn't even have to worry about because we're not actually dealing damage, and those abilities specifically say only prevent damage being done. So we don't really have to stop walls, but Hexmaniac can help us with Vileplume, keep bats off of us for a while, stop someone else's Shamans, also help, let's see, the other thing I was thinking of, it can help like disrupt Aromatisse or Bronzongs. So those are good reasons why Hexmaniac is still really a one-of staple in most decks nowadays. Moving right along, we play 2 Judge. Judge is kind of becoming the new N. It's not quite as powerful as N can be, but it is kind of useful. I mean, think about it. If you draw 7 cards on your first turn, you play, let's say, 6 of those, and then you get a Shaman, get up to 6 more, and you play another 5, and then you Judge, and you still get to see another 4. You've looked at basically 15 cards in your deck, been able to play 15 cards in your deck, which is a fourth of your deck, and then your opponent now is stuck with just 4 cards. And it might actually be this play at the very beginning of the game might actually be enough to keep them dead drawing, and you could win the game just off of that. And really, because Gengar does take a little while to set up, we want to try to slow our opponent down any way we can, so hand disruption is one of the ways we can do that. All right, we play 2 Lysander. If you've heard any of my videos before, Lysander just wins games. So we play 2 of those. We need to, and actually in this deck it can be very useful because we can Lysander something up that is not ready to attack, and we can still use Gengar EX's attack to begin hitting stuff on the bench. If we can try to get 3 damage counters on everybody, or at least a good portion of their Pokemon before the baby Gengar gets up to use Creepshow, it's really, really useful for us. So Lysander helps us do that. We do play 1 Pokemon fan club, and this card I really wish I could play more of. However, at the end game, it just doesn't help us very much. It actually kind of hurt us when we're um, drawing. So so to play more than 1 is just, it's not really useful, but just the 1 of can really help us. We can grab a Ghastly and get a Shaman, and so now it also becomes a draw supporter too, and allows us to get a Ghastly out on our bench, or if we need a Gengar EX, we can get a Gengar EX. So 1 of Pokemon Fan Club, if it's in our starting hand, could be very useful, or if we need it even in the first few turns, can be very helpful. Alright, next is Professor Birch's Observation. We're just playing 2 of these. I consider, since Judge is sort of a draw supporter, AZ can be a draw supporter, and Pokemon Fan Club can be a draw supporter because of Shaman. We can go with just a lighter Birch, and so we just play 2 Birches. Matter of fact, you could even take the 2 Birches out and put Battle Compressors. Be a little more tricky, but at the same time you might be able to grab use a VS Seeker to grab something. So 2 Birches, pretty good. We play the 4 standard Sycamore, discard your hand and draw 7. That's just one of those cards that it's like the standard in today's game. You need 4 Sycamores in just about every deck. Alright, so that is our supporter line. Let's move right into our item cards. Now, we do, again, want to disrupt our opponent a little bit, so we are playing 3 Crushing Hammers. If we can get 1 or 2 of these to hit in a game, it'll just delay them enough so that we can begin to pile the damage up with Gengar EX and then come in and sweep with just baby Gengar. 2 enhanced hammers. Again, there's so much special energy going on. Giratina EX is a thing now, which would prevent our mystery energies to be able to be used. So if we need to get 1 or 2 of his energies knocked off, we can always do that. So enhanced hammer gives us that opportunity. I already mentioned it, but we play 4 rare candies. It's just so efficient to help us get the baby Gengar out as fast as possible, especially since it's a stage 2, and Creepshow really is the way we're trying to win the game. So rare candy can be very, very useful for us. So we play 4 of those. We play 1 Super Rod. I really like the flexibility of Super Rod. It allows you to get a combination of basic energy and Pokemon and shuffle 3 of those back into your deck from your discard pile. So Super Rod can allow us to get some psychic energy back if we need it, or if we need to get some Ghastlys and Gengars back, or Haunter, we can do that too. So Super Rod, very, very useful for that also. Ultra Ball, we're playing 4 Ultra Balls. Again, we want to be able to grab Shaman EX or begin to get our line out, or maybe we have the rare candy and a Ghastly on the bench, and we just need to get Gengar, so we can grab Gengar with the Ultra Ball. Alright, we play 3 VS Seeker. We could play 4, but just sometimes I feel like what ends up happening is we draw into 2 or 3 VS Seekers with a Sycamore, and we end up having to Sycamore all of them away. And so I feel like if we play fewer of them, we have a less chance of that happening. So we're just playing the 3. Now, if you play 4, that's perfectly fine. You can take out a Birch or a Judge, or even the Fan Club if you really wanted to, and play 4 of those. That's no problem. That's just personal preference. But I do think any less than 3 is probably not a good idea unless you just can't afford it. And then you would want to substitute those in for some more supporters, considering maybe another Birch or another Lysander. Um, Lysander, the reason Lysander is so good is we have 2 to play, but we also have 3 possibilities to bring him back, which gives us a potential 5 Lysanders in a game. And if you get that many Lysanders off in a game, you're probably going to win the game. Um, all right, that leads us to our stadium. Kind of is a no-brainer, but Dimension Valley allows Gengar EX to attack for free. So night attack, you can begin putting 3 damage counters on your any of your opponent's Pokemon for free. That allows us to do our energy drops on our Ghastlies and get them ready for the baby Gengars coming out. But also, if we ever, I mean, it's very possible sometimes we have to put 2 energies on Gengar, and we can now Dark Corridor here and hit for 60 and then retreat to the bench, put something else up, maybe put another Gengar EX, or we can put a baby Gengar up. But 60 plus poison might do a knockout anyway, so we wouldn't necessarily need to creep show here. So that can be very useful. An attack, we don't use it a lot, but it is something that we can use if we need it. Alright, and then our energies, we just play 9 energies in this deck. Because of Dimension Valley helping us so much, we really don't need but 9 energies. We play 4 mystery energies. Couple reasons for this. We want to play it on our Gengar. Even if we have the Dimension Valley, sometimes we want to play it on there just so we have free retreat with the Gengar EX. You'll notice though that Gengar has free retreat, but his pre-evolutions don't. So sometimes if we start with, let's say, a Ghastly, we can put a mystery energy on the Ghastly. Maybe we'll Ultra Ball, get a Gengar EX. We can retreat the Ghastly and put Gengar EX up, put the Dimension Valley down. We're still attacking turn 1, even though we had to put the energy drop on Ghastly. We don't lose the energy, we save the mystery energy, so later on we can put, when we evolve to Gengar, he's ready to go. So I feel like that's a really solid way to use the mystery energies. So anyway, so we play 4 of those, and then finally we play 5 psychic energies. This deck plays really, really well, though. I really, really enjoy it, and it is a little bit slow because sometimes you have to bring this Gengar EX, put the 3 damage counters on, then next turn bring up the Gengar. But it's usually not too hard to do that, and it also allows the damage to kind of be spread around everywhere. So there's some times where I took 6 prizes and they didn't take any, even though all of my bench Pokemon had a little bit of damage on them. So anyway, guys, this is Pokedad. Hit like. Please, please, please hit like. It just takes a couple seconds. Subscribe if you haven't already. And then give me your comments below. Tell me what you think of the deck. What do you like most about it? Anyway, guys, we'll talk to you later. And this is Pokedad signing off. Bye.